So this is an oldie but a goodie. This is the Kiki Chord. For those that aren't familiar, this is the deck that I kind of made my name with on the SCG tour. Traveled around the country a lot, played a lot of Magic the Gathering with this. And for those not familiar, Kiki-Jiki, Breaker of Mirrors here. Create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. This combos with Restoration Angel here. When Restoration Angel comes into play, exile target non-angel creature you control and return that creature to play under your control. Kiki-Jiki, along with Restoration Angel, create an unlimited number of 3/4 Restoration Angel tokens with haste to attack your opponent for lethal. We tie the whole room together with Chord of Calling here, thus the Kiki Chord, which gives us a powerful tutor effect to allow us to search our library for whichever combo piece we're missing, or various utility creatures such as Knight of Autumn, Magus of the Moon, or perhaps something like Stoneforge Mystic. At any rate, let's go ahead and dive on into a Modern League with this one. Thanks for the 21-month Slayer. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I promised the first hour of this league would be like this to someone for dollary dues, so here we are, chat. I played like 20 matches of Abs and Adventures, and I added Questing Beasts to the main so I had access to 4 in the 75. I found out that it can outgrind Field of the Dead, Ranger Eos for double Innkeeper. Sure, yeah, that makes sense. Our baby can be named Kiki. Thank you for the 9 months, CD Sniper. Yeah, Marty. I think a lot of people, Field of the Dead was banned, so a lot of people are more scared of it than they should be. We are the 666th player to join this Modern League while we're playing Kiki Chord. It's a sign, chat. It's a sign. A true sign from above. I think we keep this hand. It has a Path to Exile in it, and then it's got our colors to curve Scooze into Pyromancer here. Nivik, the thing that's going to be really important for people to understand for the next week, next couple of weeks actually, is that just because you are a county over from where COVID was reported, they're not testing nearly enough people. There are almost assuredly untested COVID cases everywhere in the United States right now. Largely boomers elected a largely incompetent government here. And now that largely incompetent government is going to be responsible for essentially unleashing a pandemic that could have been much less bad had they been properly prepared for it. Oh, we're playing against this deck. The opponent is playing Neobrand, for those wondering. So now I have a decision to make. I'm definitely attacking for 2 with the Scavenging Ooze. I have to decide, do I want to deploy a Seasoned Pyromancer, or do I want to sit here and hold up a copy of Path to Exile, because Path to Exile is technically the ability to disrupt them. I think I'm just supposed to deploy more pressure here. Sword's pretty slow. I think I'm ditching the sword and a land here. Definitely Chuck. Nibd, thanks for the 11 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. If they don't pop off this turn, starting next turn, we'll be able to start holding up Path to Exile, which is great. Punk Count Infinity, thank you for the 44 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think we just keep churning through our deck here, looking for another combo piece with Chord of Calling. We're one combo piece there. There's a Restoration Angel. So, gosh, Resto plus Seasoned Pyromancer is truly a delight, isn't it? Okay, this could be it. The big boy's coming. So they find Allosaurus Rider here, which allows them to put this into play, which they then neoform into Griselbrand, and then they begin drawing their deck. Cardis, thank you for the 21 months of support. I'm just going to go ahead and let this draw, I think. And then when they go to pitch a shoal, I'll path it in response. There's small ups and downs regardless to how you time the path to exile. The reality is path to exile is not very particularly good interaction in this matchup, so good chance that we're just dead here. Wayworn Cypress, thank you for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So they go ahead and they use their Nourishing Shoals with their big scary green monsters here. And they attempt to draw out their deck. Denmark has now moved away from testing people with mild simple symptoms and advises people to self-isolate and only contact people when symptoms are severe. So the numbers coming out of Denmark are going to be yes. One of the things people don't seem to understand, I've heard a lot of people say that places in the US are overreacting. It's very, very important that we get out ahead of this so that when things do start getting bad, hopefully the hospitals don't get nearly overwhelmed. If the hospitals get overwhelmed, the mortality rates increase a good deal. Because the mortality rates can only stay as low as they are if we're able to treat the people who get severe. Good morning, Navier. Don't worry, this is just for the next hour, I promise. The cost of Soft Voice Jeff is $100 per hour on top of the cost of the deck that's being submitted. Thank you for the biddies, Paula. Hopefully we don't have too disappointing of a day with Kiki. We're off to a wonderful start here, playing against Neobrand to begin. Torcat, thank you for the 1.5 years of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And again, this is one of those just kind of pretty unsatisfying games in Magic Arena, or Magic Modern, just because the person responsible for this today was Zephyr, I believe. I have to go back and check my bit log. I believe Zephyr it was. Gonna make me look now. Yeah, it was definitely Zephyr. All right, so this is a matchup where we don't really necessarily win the game so much as we just hope our opponent loses. We have an Eidolon of Rhetoric here, which could be reasonable. Linvala is technically interactive with what they have going on, but most of this is largely us just crossing our fingers and hoping our opponent's deck doesn't work like we saw in that first game there. Opponent just kind of fumbled and didn't do anything, and then they died. My frame is mono red because this is Kiki Chord, and Kiki is mono red. There's something comfortingly dystopian hearing you talk about COVID in the ASMR voice. I believe that. So ideally, what we're looking for here is a mana dork plus one of our 3 mana hate cards. Turn 2 is the fastest this deck is able to deploy interaction. And I think we're going to go ahead and mulligan again here, looking for exactly that. Our opponent's mulligan to 6 as well. We'll see if they keep their 6. They've chosen to keep 6. I'm going to go to 5, looking for turn 2 interaction. I think I'm going to 4 here. Yeah, okay. I mean, here we are. We're not excited about it, but this is what we've got. Hopefully we get a turn. For those not familiar with the opponent's archetype in Modern, the opponent's deck can literally kill you before you take a turn if they're on the play. Just the first hour, anaphylactic. Yeah, drawing Linvala is actually kind of unfortunate because it means that if I draw a 2-drop, I can't evolution into Linvala. Although, if they don't do anything for the first few turns and we get to cast Linvala, this does turn off Gristlebrand's ability to draw cards, which is wonderful. Chevry, thank you for the 10 months of support. So this is my opponent's 3rd turn now. What an incredibly long game of Modern. Opponent took 3 turns, we took 2 turns. That's like a turn 5 game. Pretty impressive overall. For people that aren't familiar with how priority works, there is no point after this spell resolves where I can path to exile this before they're able to sacrifice it to Eldritch Evolution. Opponent does not have Pact of Negation as their final card. Welcome to Thunderdome. Welcome to Modern. I hope all of you enjoy your stay. I'm going to go ahead and hit my auto pass hotkey now, and let's go on this wild ride. Oh gosh, we were the 666th player in this Modern League on Friday the 13th. I didn't realize that it was Friday the 13th, chat. Is this a sign? Is this a sign? Oh no. Oh no. Skirt, I hope everything works out okay for you. Thank you for the 13 months. Feel better. So opponent has now drawn the entirety of their deck. They're going to go ahead and win the game, so I'm going to go ahead and concede. All right, and now we're on the play, and we cross our fingers, and we hope for the best. This hand is the best we could hope for. We're going to go ahead and keep this, and we have turn 2 Magus of the Moon, and we just hope that they don't have a copy of... We hope that we both get a second turn, and we need to hope that they don't have Manamorphose to beat our Magus of the Moon. Those are our hopes and our dreams today, chat. Obscene Sanity, thank you for the 22 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hey, look, chat. Our opponent's going for it on the first turn of the game. Moan, thank you for the 21 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. This format feels a lot like Legacy at this point. There's some good games to be had, but there's also plenty of games like this where you have absolutely no control over what's going on and you just lose. This is the part where someone pipes up and tells me, actually, Jeff, you could just play Force of Negation. Why aren't you playing Force of Negation, Jeff? And to those people, bugger off. Games of Magic that get decided by, did you mulligan to your Force? And did they have their Pact of Negation to beat your Force? Really suck. Thank you for the very generous Tier 2 resub, Squid Twad. I appreciate the 18 months. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. And again, for those of you just joining us, this is my opponent's very first turn of the game. I took a single turn and cast a Noble Hierarch. My opponent is now attempting to win the game on the first turn. Well, we're getting Gristlebranded to start, Harlan. So you could say that, well, we're getting what Kiki Chord deserves. Our opponent is now deterministic to win on the very first turn of the game. Feels modern, man. Nothing has changed. Everything is awful. I blocked out 2.5 hours to play this deck this morning, just in case it was good. It's looking like that was unnecessary. I mean, this is part of the reason why I increased the cost for Magic Online decks, because even if we just get dumpstered 3 times, I still make a $40 profit with a $50 deck submission. I think I'm supposed to mulligan a hand like this in the dark. There's a good chance Scavenging Ooze just isn't particularly useful, and there's no acceleration, so I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. Yeah, this hand seems fine. I think I'm going to go ahead and throw back the second Stoneforge Mystic, and then hopefully we don't get Thoughtseized on the first turn. Cody, I would recommend not spending your shards in raid because 1, the legendary that's at 10x rates right now is really pretty mediocre, and 2, it's not actually an increased chance to actually get a legendary, it's just if you get a legendary, you then also get that specific one. I'm pretty sure their 10x events are just baits for people who are bad at math. Yeah, it's not, you should read the fine print. Losing our only white source here, not particularly good for our hero. That being said, Knight of Autumn and Stoneforge Mystic, should we draw a white source, will be pretty reasonable against the red deck. Pretty slow start for the opponent here. That bodes well for us potentially. If we can find a white source and get to Night of Autumn into Resto My Night of Autumn, we have a very real shot here. The Omni Z, thank you for the 34 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Fun fact, chat, while this land does hurt a little bit, this is the 22nd land that I did add to the Kiki Chord submission I found online. So while it does hurt a little bit, it's better than missing our land drop again. Of course I got a bucket full of money, MWLX. Thank you for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. For those keeping track, we'll be doing this for the next 40 minutes. And they had the decency to kill our Night of Autumn, so Night of Autumn effectively gained 6 there. We lost 1, we gained 4, and then it ate a lightning bolt. Eternal Witness, looking forward to picking our Night of Autumn back up next turn. So we take 2 to cast this, but we don't take damage from our lands, so that's nice. If they don't have a Searing Blood or a Searing Blaze here, and they have to spend a spell to kill this Eternal Witness, that's a pretty net positive for us overall, I think, yet again. Yep, opponent spending lots of damage to kill our creatures ends up being very, very good for us. Yes, the main deck grows being incidental Death Shadow Hate is truly a delight. So we're going to 9 here, and then next turn we're going to take 3. We're going to 6 here. I'm going to go ahead and pass here, and hope that I can flash in this Restoration Angel to kill this Eidolon inside of combat. Should my opponent elect to not attack in, I'm going to go ahead and cast Chord of Calling. Hopefully my opponent does not have a burn spell here. If their last card's a blank, we're in a very good spot. If they have a burn spell that can target this Restoration Angel and shrink it with Soulscar Mage, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Okay, so you're saying there's a chance. We're halfway there. Living on a prayer. Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. We are dead to a Boros charm. Do 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 do. Survey says. Okie doke. Okie doke. All right, blaze it. Now the question is, do I want to chump block with Knight, or do I want to chump block with Restoration Angel? I feel like I want to chump block with Knight, because next turn I'm going to Seasoned Pyromancer and churn through some cards, and then hopefully I can Chord for Kiki and win the game from there. So I'm going to go ahead and play this and ditch Stoneforge Mystic and Batterskull here. So we get some tokens. And then, assuming the top 2 cards of their decks are blanks here, we do get to kill them with the Chord of Calling next turn. It is asking a lot, though. Two blanks is a lot. Creature, sure. Catch you later, Butler. Thanks for dropping in. Okay, those are their 2 cards. They're dead, right? So I block here. And then I go to 2. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exactly. Yep. Yep. Opponent confirmed not ghosting. If they were ghosting, they would finish off the Restoration Angel there. They have no cards in hand, so we know this will work. And then Kiki-Jiki with Restoration Angel here. Get save targets there. Get to floop a meatball into play and make a nice pasta. We have lots of great cards in our sideboard for this matchup. We have another Voice. We have Knight of Autumn. We've got a couple Lightning Helix. We got an Eternal Witness. We've got another Scavenging Ooze. Got another Path to Exile. Got a couple of Burrenton Forge-Tenders. We get to go ahead and cut a little bit of the chunky off the top end here. Magus out. Glorybringer out. Linvala out. This is 65 cards in total still. This is probably not a Sword of Fire and Ice matchup. I really like Eternal Witness in this matchup because Eternal Witness, rebuying Lightning Helix, and Knight of Autumn are both particularly powerful in my experience. Eternal Witness, rebuying Burrenton Forge-Tender also tends to be very good. Maybe I don't want this many copies of Path to Exile. I could see that. And then we could trim... I feel like it's not crazy to trim a Stoneforge Mystic because it's frequently... They likely have Dart. Oh, God. Dart. It's been so long since I've played Modern Harlan, I forgot that Dart's a card I have to care about. Yeah, you're super right. That's gross. Yeah, let's cut these. I'm pulling the curve down. I like that suggestion. Lava Dart is the card that we're referring to. That's a dart. Yeah, I'm planning to play each deck for a little bit longer today, because these are the decks that I like. Yarok Field is a treat. This is the OG Hogland deck. Ooh, seems very good. Maybe I'm supposed to just... Maybe this is a hand where it's actually wrong to play this Birds of Paradise on one. Perhaps I'm supposed to fetch Shaka White Source on one, play the Forge-Tender, because the Forge-Tender would protect the Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, I think perhaps I've sequenced incorrectly here. Oh, do they not have a land? That's very good for us. I think rather than double down on my mistake and play a 2-drop this turn, I'm going to go ahead and play the Forge-Tender. And again, I'm pretty confident I should have played the Forge-Tender on turn 1. Eidolach, thank you for the half a year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Isn't Evolution a danger against Burn, running through your resources and they can interrupt? No. Evolution is actually incredibly good against Burn because Evolution gives you access to your cards ahead of curve. And Burn is a matchup where when you lose it with cards in your hand. So spending multiple resources to get to the right card is very, very good in a fast matchup because you're frequently going to have extra cards left over when you lose. And ZZ, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday wherever you're at in the world. I just saw a really great tweet that said, why are only famous people catching COVID-19? And the answer to that, chat, is because famous people have access to tests. Lots of normal people have COVID-19 as well. We just don't have an appropriate number of tests in the United States because our glorious leader felt it made him look better to hide the fact that people have COVID-19 in our country. I'm going to try and protect Stoneforge Mystic here. Our schools are not canceled. However, Christy and I are fortunate enough, in large part because of the support that you all give me here, that we pulled Jake out of school starting today. Our district is not taking action, but we felt that we have the ability to keep our child home, so we're going to do that. So there are now 3 creatures in our graveyard here. I'm going to go ahead and fetch a... Maybe I do just fetch another green source here since I drew the Sacred Foundry. Yeah, I'm going to fetch a forest. We're going to play Scavenging Ooze and make a 4/4. Dr. Paul MTG, thank you for the 2 entire years of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. When's the podcast coming? Well, after losing a brutal match to Neobrand, where we effectively didn't get to do anything, we then bested Burn in a close set. So it feels like Kiki Chord of old. Bring on the Tron. It is a major failing of capitalism, Clowncopter. You're not wrong that is a major failing of capitalism, but that is also reality. If they close schools in New York and a lot of other major cities, we are currently being faced with the choice in the United States, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, where we have to choose between slowing the spread of a pandemic and feeding children. And anyone who hears that and thinks capitalism is currently working, you're a fucking idiot. Looks like green Tron here as opposed to Eldrazi Tron. Not a whole lot great going on here. We have Restoration Angel in hand, and we have this Chord of Calling. So if the opponent's start is a little bit slow here, we might survive to combo kill them. Good morning, Mr. Bips. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday the 13th. I think I'm supposed to fetch a Stomping Ground here, so that way I can have 2 red sources should the bird die and we draw Seasoned Pyromancer. The ASMR will stop in approximately 23 minutes. My Fist, thank you for the 5 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Good morning to everybody out there dropping into Hoaglandia today. There's a path to exile. Wormcoil Engine here is not particularly scary, especially not only with this path to exile, but also because we're just an infinite combo deck. ASMR is $100 an hour, payable in bits. 10K bits. And no, you cannot crowdfund that. It must come from one individual whale. So remember, we need a total of 8 lands and creatures together to chord for a Kiki-Jiki. I think we're supposed to deploy the resto here, but we cannot combo them next turn. If they have an Ulamog in hand, we're going to be in trouble. I suppose I just chord for a... Magus of the Moon here, right? So we'll let them get their land. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do this. And go find a friend. And then, should we draw a land next turn, we get to combo them with Kiki-Jiki. So that's exciting. Neckfire, thank you for the 2/3 of a year of support. I appreciate that. Let's see if they have an Oblivion Stone here, or just another Thragtusk. Lots of swag dads. K through 12 in my state has been canceled for 3 weeks, so you're a tutor now. Gonna need you to put an emphasis on math and story problems. Oh, that's a good point. I'm gonna make an extra effort to not swear for the next month. Normally, I let them loose and I don't feel too bad about it. But for the next month, there's way more likely to be children in the room while this stream is going on. So I'm going to try and make a conscious effort to try a little bit harder. If this is a Wormcoil Engine, my opponent loses the game. Holy gosh, chat. We're going to win game 1 against Tron. Chat, we're going to win game 1 against Tron. Can we play Modern? Can I register Kiki Chord in Modern? Am I allowed to be happy? This can't be real, Moderns. I'm going to win game 1 against Tron. I put a stop on my upkeep, so that way my opponent gets to know I already had it and I'm not a dirty, filthy lucker. Where is everybody's favorite meatball? There's everybody's favorite meatball. Meatball, meet Restoration Angel, meet meatball. Save targets, always yield. Always yes. Oh, save targets doesn't work. Of course save targets doesn't work. They conceded. God bless. So again, for those new to this combo, those two cards together create an unlimited number of Restoration Angels, which then allow us to kill our opponent. Scavenging Ooze, very bad here. Glorybringer, too slow. Linvala, not relevant. Thank you for the 15 months, Gazi. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Extra Path to Exile sounds good here. I think I'm in the market for an Eidolon of Rhetoric. I'm also not 100% sure how we're supposed to be sideboarding here. I feel like the Batterskull package is pretty poor. And maybe we bring in the Restoration or the Voices just because the extra token and the extra green creature is good. I like bringing an Eidolon of Rhetoric in this matchup against Green Tron because they play Chromatic Stars and Chromatic Spheres, and making them only play one spell per turn can often be the difference between winning and losing a game. I think this is how I'm going to sideboard with this setup. Sounds good. Is it fine to have both Eidolon and Pyromancer? Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't those two be fine together? Can you explain to me? Okie doke. If Wizards of the Coast is smart and likes money, there will definitely be a fetch land secret layer. And I would assume there is a good chance that Wizards of the Coast is both smart and enjoys money. So a little bit unfortunate here that since the Noble Hierarch died, I don't have access to a white source once I Magus of the Moon them. Because Magus of the Moon is symmetrical. Already announced, the professor has a video on it. Excellent. Hashtag dollar bills, y'all. And then we have Pridemage here. So Pridemage can kill an Oblivion Stone should they have that to deploy to possibly kill Magus. No, you're thinking of Spirit of the Labyrinth, Misha. Also a white enchantment creature though, so easy to mix those up, definitely. There's the Oblivion Stone that we assumed was coming. Touch unfortunate again that we don't currently have white mana. Just going to hope to draw a Mana Dork or a Basic Plains at some point. Pretty unlikely though. We'll go ahead and we'll shoot this now before they can blow it up. Things not looking particularly good for our hero here. We're now entering the point of the game where we've disrupted the Tron deck a little bit, but we've not applied an immense amount of pressure, so they're going to just start casting their spells naturally. Ooh, that's a Chord of Calling. The Chord of Calling is a big deal here because should my opponent kill the Magus of the Moon on their turn now, I can end step Restoration Angel and then untap and combo kill them. So, the Chord of Calling changes the dynamic here entirely. So this is a World Breaker. Yep. Birds, also an incredibly good draw. That's Nugan, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if they -3 or +2 here. That's a -3, yep. So if we draw an untapped land here, which every land in our deck is currently untapped, we get to win the game. Or a Kiki-Jiki. Untapped land or Kiki-Jiki, both lethal here. My body's ready to draw Voice of Resurgence. Stoneforge Mystic, sure, equally useless. So now we have to hope that they have 2 bricks in their hand and another brick on top of their deck. If they have a Karn or another Ugin or an Ulamog, this game is over. Really close game, all things considered. Oh no! We were much further away than I thought. We're out of fetchable lands? Oh, this mana base is atrocious. This mana base is atrocious. Oh, that's so bad. This game was never close at all. I just assumed the mana base in this deck was better than it was. Yikes. I only added a land to the mana base. I didn't really vet it past that. I should have just assumed the average person building a mana base would be much, much greedier than I am. Okay, we're going to take this next game on the play here, hopefully. Yeah, so there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lands that Windswept Heath or Wooded Foothills can fetch in this deck. And there's 7 lands that Windswept Heath can fetch. We have 7 fetchable lands in total with 8 fetches. Which isn't actually that uncommon. I just wasn't something I was thinking about because I'm not intimately familiar with the mana base in this deck. The Singleton Razorverge Thicket perhaps should be another Temple Garden. Doesn't seem unreasonable. I like how Wizards of the Coast basically acknowledged that their foiling process is a hot pile of dog doo-doo and just decided that these competitive tournament playable fetches that they're reprinting, they're just going to be non-foil, because if they made them foil, they wouldn't really be tournament playable. So this hand does have a no, it's not. I was going to say turn 3 Magus on the play, but it doesn't actually. We need another 1-drop for that to happen. Or a 2-drop this turn. 1 or 2 mana creature here would be great. Ooh, that's actually really good. You love to see it. I'm going to go ahead and fetch a basic Plains with this Windswept Heath. So that way I can kind of set my colors up for the event that we draw a thing next turn. The fetch news just happened this morning, Jin. So not too far out of the cycle on that one for you. Yep. So I guess we'll see if they have a Karn next turn. Hand is not particularly well set up to beat a Karn. So again, I can only chord for 2 here, which I don't think I want to do, so I'm just going to go ahead and attack for 2. All right, do your worst, opponent. Are we heading towards Oblivion? Ooh. Seeing some of the power of Eidolon of Rhetoric here, perhaps. Slowing our opponent down a touch. Oh. You know what I'm just realizing, looking at this deck list? There's a Stony Silence creature in Modern now, right? That card wasn't a card that existed last time I played Modern. It's kind of strange that this deck is not playing the Stony Silence creature, right? All right, so yeah, I think because they just did this last turn, I just go and fetch Magus, yeah. I'm waiting till their turn here because we could see it's going to be a Nature's Claim. So I'm waiting till their turn because I don't want them to Spatial Contortion one of my creatures in response here. And if they do Spatial Contortion one of my creatures in response during their upkeep, that'll count as their spell for the turn, so they won't be able to do anything else. So that's nice. Now, the unfortunate part here is while we've disrupted them a little bit again here, I've kind of blown my load, right? There's not a whole lot going on. I don't have a ton of pressure in play, so my opponent is likely going to be able to just make land drops and then cast their spells here. Hopefully their spells are Wormcoil Engines and then Path to Exile is live, but there's a real chance that that's not going to be the case. Yeah, another Chord of Calling would be stellar. We could start chording with a Witness Chain. Drawing Eternal Witness at this point would be stellar. To give credit where credit is due, I've enjoyed playing Modern this morning. Even with the first match being peak Modern. I think you just have to approach this format like I approached Legacy for a long time. Just kind of accept that you got to take your lumps. If you go into the format with the expectation that it's unreasonable, it's a lot easier to stomach. It's when you go into this format expecting something. If you go into Modern expecting to get to play Magic every match, you're going to be really sad and frustrated. But when you go into it with the expectation that some of the matches are going to be kind of awful, it's pretty reasonable. You just got to shake off the awful matchups and move on to the next one. Ugh. That's a little bit of an ugh. Yep. Okay. Okay. Huh. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think I'm supposed to get the other Magus of the Moon here. Am I supposed to just fetch Magus? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power in play. I feel like I'm supposed to try and combo them. Is that unreasonable? Psycho Smurf, thank you for the tier 3. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I think the end step chord for Kiki-Jiki Pyromancer. And then that gives me 4 draws at a Evolution, Chord, or a Restoration Angel. Seems like I have a pretty good shot here, potentially. We could also get Big Ugin this turn. If we get Big Ugin this turn, it kind of doesn't matter. Oh, and again, just really, really powerful Eidolon of Rhetoric here. Like, if we win this game, we almost assuredly won it because this card prevented them from casting multiple spells. You definitely did, Balasar. I got you, no worries. So, okay, that's a blast zone. That's fine though, right? Yeah, I think we get Kiki and then try and find the resto to kill them next turn. So we do this. Find a Kiki-Jiki. And then Kiki-Jiki is going to activate on Seasoned Pyromancer to draw 2 cards. Oh god, it just feels so dirty. Are they just dead to combat? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9? That's a Sword of Fire and Ice. Is Sword of Fire and Ice lethal? I think it is, right? Okay, so I just play the sword, right? I just play the sword? I think I play the sword. Yeah, including Eidolon of Rhetoric in this matchup is one of those things that you figure out after having played this matchup dozens of times. I've played this matchup a lot. Some of the tiny details are different, but the main points still stay the same. Yeah, so just to confirm, this does 4, 5, 6. Yeah, if they have all right, fair warning, the ASMR is over. Anybody that has their mic volumes up might want to turn those down. All right, I think we're good. That sound good? They could have a Spatial Contortion here, or an Nature's Claim. Wow, did we do it? That's sick. That was great. All right, Kiki-Jiki, my Seasoned Pyromancer. Like, all right, I'm into it. I am super, super into it. I should put it on a 2/2 for Spatial Contortion considerations. Yeah, probably, because then I can equip it to something else if they Spatial Contortion me. Sure. You right.
Pretty easy mulligan here in the dark, I think. I'm glad Field is back to it. Thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub. And for the 11 months at that. Oh man, you know what's sweet? You can resto blink Glorybringer when it's exerted to untap it and attack with it again the following turn. That's sick. That's a good clean live-in. Blackcleave Cliffs is a little scary. Okay, that's a great draw. I was gonna say Blackcleave Cliffs is worrying because it means this is likely to die, but this gives us a white source, so that's fine. As you will, opponent. You know what they drew for turn 2? So, depending on the actual supply provided for... That's actually great, huh? I think we lead on voice to start still, though. Depending on the supply that they have for the Secret Lair fetch land thing, there's a chance that the Secret Lair actually increases the price of fetch lands, because that's something we saw around Modern Master sets a whole lot, where like someone will get 1 or 2 and then they'll try and complete their playset of them is a real consideration. So like, whereas before they're basically like the supply is going up a little bit, but the demand's going to increase more than the supply is essentially what happens. I mean, they banned once upon a time from that deck Navier, and like this deck has 2 main deck Magus, so I feel like we have a real shot there. Like I played Kiki-Jiki against Amulet like forever ago. It's been a while. I think I'd rather get the Grove into play here rather than the Plains, because we're gonna have to discard our land here to the Liliana next turn most likely. So I'd rather have double red in play, so that way I can, double red in play allows me to cast a Seasoned Pyromancer, which is one of our better cards in a grindy matchup like this. Morning Moonlight, we are currently 2-1 with Kiki Chord. We beat Tron, we beat Burn. It's been a fun set of games. Today is, so I was originally going to do 2 historic decks today, but then I looked at the lineup and saw that I had Yarak Field, Kiki Chord, and Black Red Titan, and I was like, nah, we're just gonna play my 3 favorite decks today and we'll do longer sets with them. Yeah, the reason you play Grove of the Burnwillows in this deck is because 1, it's a main deck hate card against Death Shadow. And then 2, it is it's a main deck hate card against Death Shadow. And then 2, it is we don't care about their life total in most games just because we have an infinite combo in our deck. So we get to kill their Tarmogoyf here because they have to chump block. If they don't chump block, we draw a card. They take 5, we kill Liliana. So eat your Goyf. Play this land. Go. I think 4 Groves might be too many. We had a game where not having enough fetchable lands kind of bit us. So I'd kind of like 1 more fetchable land in my deck. Pretty sure we just did Stoneforge Mystic here, huh? Like if I draw a Batterskull, I can cast it for 5. I think I'd rather have the Mana Dork / Exalted Creature. Sure. All right, they're down to 1 card in their hand here, but it's worth noting they have a Kroxa in their bin. So, like, we really need to draw a piece of action here. Seasoned Pyromancer is probably one of the best draws in our deck at this point. Eldritch Evolution would also be fine because it gives us access to a Seasoned Pyromancer. So they're going to go to 12 and put Crocs into play next turn, most likely. Off this Nurturing Peatland. Really surprised they didn't fetch a Green Shock here. Oh, I guess they probably know we play Magus of the Moonmane deck. They're fetching around that. That makes sense. I remember 2014. I was still optimistic about the future in 2014. It's a good year. Ah, yes. Drawing lands and mana dorks on turn 6. Feels magic, man. Yeah, Maelstrom Pulse is really good. Yeah, we thought 2020 couldn't possibly be worse than 2019 was. And COVID was just like, hold my beer. Ooh. They still have spells. Stop having spells, opponent. All right, well. Step 1 accomplished. Holding COVID's beer was our first mistake. Ain't that it's sad. It's just sad. We beat Burn and we beat Tron, Percy. Don't you rain on my parade? My Kiki-Jiki deck is wonderful. You'll pry it from my cold, dead hands. '2020 starter pack, narrowly avoid World War III, little bit of all of Australia on fire, and now a pandemic. Can't wait for April. Yep. Yep. All right, if we could find a season boy and chain into some good cards, we could have a real shot. All right. Move on to the next one here. 12 Steps to the Apocalypse. Yep. All right. Get to board in Veil of Summer. That's perfectly reasonable. That's definitely fine. Let me just board in my Veil of Summers here real quick. So you cut some mana creatures in this matchup. Oh, Magus of the Moon seems kind of bad here too, huh? Yeah, of course Veil's legal. This format is just stains. Come on now. We died to Neobrand. Of course Veil of Summer is legal. Rest in Peace is probably good here now, right? Because it turns off Kroxa too. It's like it's good against some of our own effects here as well, but I feel like Rest in Peace is worth playing here. It turns off Kroxa and Goyf. You're keeping an Eldritch Evolution versus Jund. That's a good call. It's been a while since I sideboarded. Eldritch Evolution should probably come out. Trim and Eternal Witness. I'm going to give you a timeout for that suggestion. That's awful. This is exactly the style of grindy matchup you want Eternal Witness in. Evolution's a good suggestion because Evolution requires you to expend 2 resources to get 1 thing. And 2 for 1ing yourself in a matchup like this is generally not what you want to be doing. But Eternal Witness on the flip side is a 2 for 1, and card advantage is exactly what you want to be doing in a matchup like this. It's very, very good. I just rescheduled an out of office at work using a reason I thought I'd never say, rescheduled due to global plague. I agree. In my super biased opinion so far, I love Field of the Dead being legal. I think I just pass here. Not in any hurry to drop Rest in Peace into play. You are not subbed at the moment, Moonlight. Looks like you're just in chat because you have a mod sword. So your Prime's probably up for renewal if you're normally a Prime sub. Little punished for not fetching Batterskull. Just gonna put this sword into play. They have K command, they have K command. Need to use my mana. Yeah, that's fine. Take your 1 for 1. This deck feels like it's light on a land, which doesn't surprise me. People are super greedy. Should probably just be a Raging Ravine in the deck, like back when I played it forever ago. Like, when I played this deck forever ago, I was pretty confident you wanted 23 lands in it. So, getting that 23rd land as a Raging Ravine seems pretty reasonable. Thanks for the year of support, Moonlight. God, they get to play Ren in 6. Yeah, all my mana dorks should be out. That's... Alright, we're done here. I'm gonna go ahead and move along. Have some ideas for how I would shape this up, and we'll talk about them after here. Burrito match in Modern. That's exciting. Burritos. Burrito. YOLO. Homeless Wizardry, thanks for the half a year. With Historic being the only eternal format in Arena, should they toy with the idea of restrictions instead of bans or nerfed versions of cards? I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I actually think that if a card is going to be banned in every format on Magic Arena, they should rebalance the card. And I've said that before, and people are entitled to their own opinions, but I think it's very silly that a card that exists on Magic Arena, isn't legal in any formats on the platform. I'm not saying do that for every card that's banned in any format there, but if there is a card banned in every format, then they should consider rebalancing it, in my opinion. Walking Ballista, yep. God, Birds of Paradise is like, is it the worst it's ever been? It might be pretty close to the worst it's ever been, huh? Alright, we had some lands here at least. We have Linvala here. Linvala shuts off Walking Ballista, so we got that going for us. Linvala does shut off their mana dork as well. That is correct. So we'll see if they trade this Ballista for my 2 dorks, or if they just kill one. They might trade it for both dorks, since I miss land drops. Yeah. Alright, drawing another land here is great. Sounds good, YOLO swag. That'll get bumped after I'm done today. By the way, I had a couple people message me. I just didn't do any deck queue updates yesterday after I signed off. Just a lot of stuff going on right now, and I just didn't have time to get to it. So those will happen. Those will happen today after I'm done. This is outside the norm, so I'd like to mention it. Yeah, everything's fine. Just, it was a long-ish work day yesterday, and the kids were home all day. So, Declan was looking to play. Do I path this ranger so it stops attacking me? I feel like I path this ranger so it stops attacking me. Maybe I should have done that inside of combat. Maybe. Maybe I should fetch a 3rd red source there in case I draw Kiki-Jiki. Because I want to fetch a basic with this, right? Alright, sure. They've not canceled schools in my area. The Illinois governor said that was going to be a last resort, which in my opinion is a mistake. They should probably have schools closed everywhere at this point. Both of my kids are staying home. We can afford to be able to do that. So fortunate to be able to do that. And to, you know, look at the problem too from another perspective. Part of the reason they haven't closed schools is because not everybody can afford to do that, right? Not everybody can just be like, "Hey, I can keep my kids home." Yeah. Some kids need to go there to eat. Like I understand the logistics of it. Choosing between slowing the spread of a pandemic and feeding children is like really awful. Thanks, Pirapoo. Thanks for the 10 months. Nah, I shaved the beard because the longer beard was annoying me. I kept getting crap caught in it while I was eating. And I'm not going out to diet anytime soon, so I decided to trim it back. Well, we're going to get to draw a lot of cards. A take I heard about closing schools is that there are kids who don't have care, and there are a lot of doctors and nurses whose kids would need their parents to stay home. Yeah, I mean, that's a real thing. So I'm going to block with Seasoned Pyromancer here. And then I'm going to go ahead and play Restoration Angel and blink it. Out of my 23 fourth grade students, I'd say maybe 7 or 8 have someone at home who can keep them if schools are canceled and other workplaces don't release their employees. Yeah. The problem is, like, we haven't been able to come together fully as a society to, like, and again, like, the federal government should be helping with things. Like, again, the Trump administration is awful and they're not stepping up. The GOP and the Senate are awful and they're not stepping up. This is a moment in history where our government should be stepping up to the plate to help the people who live in this country, and they're failing at their job to do that. I tweeted this last night, and this is genuinely how I feel. The way the Trump administration and the GOP have mishandled this entire situation, causing it to become much, much worse than it otherwise needed to be. Everyone who voted for those people and put them into office, you're complicit in every death that happens in this country that didn't need to happen because of mismanagement and these evil people trying to save their own face. I hope you can sleep with yourselves at night, knowing that you put these people into power, and that the people that you put into power are going to be responsible for the deaths of children and the elderly. You gambled putting a narcissistic psychopath who's self-serving into the highest position in the land, and we lost. Your gamble lost. We lost as a country because of evil, fucking hateful boomers. It's just sickening. All right, what are we doing here? Sword of Fire and Ice doesn't seem to be particularly good. This is probably a Stoneforge Mystic out matchup. Batterskull and Sophie don't seem particularly good. Why is Eidolon good against the Devoted Druid deck? Can you explain? Would I rather have Stoneforge Mystic or Voice Seer? I think I'd actually rather have Stoneforge Mystic. I guess Voice is better with Eldritch Evolution. I think that's too clunky on Everzone is cool. Yep. Should probably just try not to talk about things that are going on, because talking about things going on makes me feel like swearing. Sure. Acceleration, a Dargon, some interaction, a couple of lands. Let's do it. Seasoned Pyromancer is a good pickup. It means once we blow our load here a little bit, we'll be able to regas back up. Pyromancer was a sweet addition to this archetype, feels like. They 100% have Heliod combo, and no, I don't think it changes how we sideboard. Like, how would I sideboard differently knowing they have Heliod combo? Like, what would you change? Maybe I'm supposed to put an untapped land into play here so I can path plus Helix this turn. Yeah, the fact that I can't path and Helix this turn might be a mistake. Yeah, Seasoned Pyromancer was a huge upgrade in the Saheeli Felidar Guardian deck, so I'm like not too surprised this feels like an upgrade here as well. They definitely don't have Heliod combo. Can you explain what indicates that they definitely don't have it? For those of us who haven't been paying a ton of attention to the format, what's the indicator in their deck list that says, hey, they probably don't have Heliod combo? Their tutors are set up for only Druid. Okay. And they're just still playing Ballista as a payoff for the Druid mana? So, probably getting Collected Companied here. Finale. Oh, do they not play Collected Company? Is that a thing then? Are they not on Coco? I mean, it's not free to add Heliod. There's so many good cards in these decks. I think we're gonna bang their Dryad. Am I playing around Coco? I feel like I'm playing around Coco. They have Eldamari's Call and Finale, though. I feel like they probably don't have room for company, he says, before he gets ambushed in combat. Hope you miss all of your instants and sorceries in your Collected Company deck. Oh, little bit of justice. Little bit of justice. Never forget, this stream was pre-recorded in front of a live studio audience. Lap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Lap it up. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put Voice of Resurgence into play. We're going to draw a pair of cards. Listen, you could say they're unlucky, but, like, they're electing to play Collected Company in their Eldamari's Call Finale of Devastation deck. So, like, that's 100% on them. Not on them, not close. Chat, we played Kiki Chord today, chat. And the end result wasn't me being sad. I'm going to say something I didn't expect to say when I started this league. I would play this again. I would. We had fun playing Modern, chat. I didn't think that would be something I'd say today when we started. And I'd do it again. I might be crazy, but I'd do it again. All right, thoughts on this. Numero uno. I added a 22nd land to this deck. I would definitely add a 23rd. We played a ton of I was pretty adamant when I played this deck back in the day about playing a Raging Ravine as a creature land, and I feel like that might be reasonable. It could also be just correct to, like, play another pain land, another draw land, but, like, we have 2 of those already, and I kind of feel like a 3rd would be pushing it. So I think I'd add a Raging Ravine. The fact that I'm adding Raging Ravine as another red source, I said I wanted 1 more fetchable land. I think I'd cut the 4th Grove, and I'd add another basic forest to the deck. I think that would be one of the things I would do. I think get rid of. So going up a land, cutting a mana dork to go up a land seems pretty reasonable. Linvala is stellar right now. So this is gonna sound a little bit, I don't even know if it sounds weird. It sounds like peak Modern. Is Stoneforge Mystic actually good in this deck? Like, one of my feelings after I was playing more of this format with the Saheeli deck, that was one of the conclusions I felt like I was coming to. Like, I kind of don't feel like Stoneforge Mystic was, like, actually good here. Does anybody have any reason to talk about different things in this format to disagree with that sentiment? Like, can someone sell me on Stoneforge Mystic? Like, Sword of Fire and Ice was fine at certain points. But, like, I kind of, and like, even take, for instance, like, the Jund matchup, right? In the Jund matchup, Stoneforge felt pretty underwhelming there, and I would much rather be drawing Voice of Resurgence in that matchup, I think. It was banned, it must be busted, right? I think going more, I think for the person in chat that just said, is it wrong to go all in the combo? Yes. So if you want to play a deck that's going all in on the combo, you should play a different deck. This deck is a bad combo deck. The appeal to playing this deck is it's a deck that plays a mid-range game plan that also sometimes combos people. That's the appeal to playing this deck. Yeah, so I definitely want people, I see people mentioning, I mentioned I wanted a Collector Ouphe. I think that's very reasonable. That's something I want in the 75. Not having that felt a little bit silly. So I've got like 56 cards here after cutting stuff. Yeah, Helix main could be okay. I'm a big fan of respecting burn personally. So like playing Helix in the main does that well. We could put this extra Eternal Witness in the main deck. I actually kind of like playing a third evolution in the sideboard. So that way in the matchups that are about racing, you can try and be a little bit faster or have more Magus of the Moon, etc. So yeah, I think I'd do this again. I think I'd have to sit down and think about and like dig through some modern lists and figure out, like, decks like this are fun and very satisfying to play because they have a lot of choices that you get to make during deck building. And in my opinion, the thing that Magic does better than just every other card game out there is the deck building depth that Magic offers, especially in big card pool formats like Pioneer and Modern and Historic. Like, it's just unparalleled. And there's so many little choices you get to make to, like, hedge your deck in different directions. So rather than sit here and like try and make them offhand here, if this is an archetype you would like to play, I'd encourage you to think about different sweet creatures that solve different problems you envision this deck having and give them a try. And if anybody wanted to donate to add this back to the queue, I'd be fine playing this deck again. I'm glad I added it in myself once. It was a lot of fun. Had some good memories. I'm gonna export this 3-card short just so I have it as a reference. Yeah, I agree. And I think part of it too is like, so we've played like 3 modern leagues in the last 2 weeks now, and I think just reframing my state of mind and my expectations on the format's a big deal. I think, especially someone like myself, if you go into Modern with the same attitude that you go into Standard, for example, with, I think you're just in for a bad time. Regardless of what you play in this format, sometimes you're going to get Neoshoal branded, sometimes you're going to get Troned, and if you're not setting yourself up to like understand that and just take your lumps and move on, you're going to be very frustrated and bitter with the format. I definitely think that I was frustrated and bitter with this for a long time due to not framing my state of mind correctly. What's your takeaway from Historic yesterday? I really liked Historic yesterday. It was great. Yarok's a lot of fun. I'm super biased because Yarok's my favorite thing. In fact, speaking of, I'm going to hit an ad roll while we get set up for the next deck. When I get back in just 3 minutes, we're going to kick off with some more Yarok Field in Historic on the Arena ladder. Back in just a few, folks. Thanks for hanging out today. Ooh, Questing Beast could be sweet. Yeah, like I feel like, yeah, 4 Seasoned Pyromancer is probably right, Burgle. I feel like I need to like sit down and go through all the creatures from the last like 3 sets, because I haven't looked at like the last year's worth of sets through the lens of what goes in Kiki Chord, and I feel like I need to sit down and do that. Need to sit down and think about like, okay, which of these cards look like they're Kiki Chord cards?